It is another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of October 3rd, 2003. The third of the month, which means we have 3 movies. Actually, that doesn't mean that, but we do have 3 movies to look at this week. And I don't know why I even did that. I just wanted to do something a little bit different there. So let's go ahead and let's get to what you're really here for, the reviews. Let's get to them, and we'll start off with, of course, the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is, of course, Jack Black starring in Richard Linklater's School of Rock. I beg your pardon, The School of Rock. I guess we needed to add the there for, I don't know, a little bit of elegance, if you will. I don't know, but Jack Black plays a struggling rock guitarist named Dewey Finn, who is fired from his band and subsequently poses as a substitute teacher at a prestigious prep school. After witnessing the musical talent of the students, Dewey forms a band of 4th graders who attempt to win the upcoming Battle of the Bands and uses winnings to pay his rent. And, of course, you know, hilarity and chaos ensues. You're going to have a story like this that's very similar to Dead Poet Society, and of course they're going to find out the liar reveals situation, and normally that would kill a movie when they do this type of stuff, but in the case of School of Rock, it does everything right. It does everything the right way. Like, it's a film that, it proves that not only Jack Black does have a lot of charisma to lead a film like this. I mean, this is his first major starring role in a film, and he makes it work very well here. But not only that, I mean, you got Mike White, who we now know is the person behind stuff like The White Lotus. He wrote Migration recently. He's going to write Despicable Me 4 coming up soon. But this was one of his early films that he wrote, and this is also directed by Richard Linklater, who had not done any of these type of films before, like a more mainstream comedy. He'd done stuff like, you know, Dazed and Confused, Before Sunrise, you know, all these different indie films. So this is his first real opportunity to show what he can do with a mainstream project like this, and he makes it work very well here. With what he brings to the table here, he really does add another element to this film. And the film is just likable, too. Jack Black is very likable. You do like a lot of these kids. They're not the typical movie kid characters where they're just there to be just like the cute kid characters. You see a lot of star power with people like Miranda Cosgrove. This was one of her early film roles before eventually became successful with iCarly, and then with the Despicable Me films. You've got a great cast that also includes people like Joan Cusack, who usually will never be bad in any movie. I mean, even the worst movie, she'll turn in probably the best performance of the film. Sarah Silverman is very good in the film as well for the little bit she's in. There's also a lot of cameos in here, especially with Kyle Gass playing one of the teachers. The film itself is just a really good, fun time all the way through, and people ate it up. I mean, it's hard not to see why, because this is just a good, fun, crowd-pleasing type of a film. It's a film that just keeps you on the edge of your seat. It keeps you having a good time all the way through. You do want to see Jack Black complete his goal. You want to see these kids get up there and have their good moment in the spotlight. And it's a very fun film all the way through. I mean, it's a really good, fun film, and it doesn't go that route that you think it's going to go down. You think it's going to go down the route where they're going to win it all, but in a way it's reminiscent of the Bad News Bears, kind of. The original Bad News Bears, which, convincingly enough, Richard Linklater would later go on to do the Bad News Bears as his next big mainstream film, but we'll get to that one in about 2 years' time when that comes out. But really, there's not much more I can add to this that hasn't already been said already. School of Rock is a masterpiece of comedy gold from Jack Black. And it just shows that the guy has a lot of potential as a leading actor, as he would show later on down the road here. And it's just, what more can you say? It's a great movie. And so with that said, that is School of Rock. Now on to the next movie, and that is Denzel Washington starring in Out of Time. You know, I've talked about how much I love Denzel Washington. I think he's the greatest actor we have. But I'm starting to realize that he did not always make a ton of great movies. I mean, he can usually save a film, but he was in a stretch right here after Training Day where he made films that were less than spectacular and kind of felt like they were kind of outside of what we expect from him. But he plays Matt Whitlock in here, the police chief of a small-town city in Florida, Banyan Key, who's separated from his wife Alex, who's a police homicide detective in Miami, played by Ava Mendes, and he's been having an affair with Anne-Marie Harrison, played by Sanaa Lathan, who's a woman who's separated from her abusive husband Chris, and says she has cancer as well. While the doctor tells her of a new expensive treatment, Matt decides to give her nearly $500,000 in evidence locked up that he sees from a local drug bust. And when Anne and her husband turn up dead only days after naming Chief Whitlock as beneficiary of a $1 million life insurance policy, things start heating up for Whitlock as the evidence his wife Alex is gathering stacks up against him. And as if things couldn't get any worse, the DEA now wants the drug money ASAP. Anxiety runs high for Whitlock as he scrambles to find out who has set him up, and also recovers $500,000 while also trying not to break a sweat or draw any suspicions. He's a man who's way out of his depth, nearly out of his luck, and desperately close to being out of time. And you can just tell, I could just tell as this was ending. This was written by probably somebody who worked at MGM at the time, and this was part of the synopsis they had probably on the main website. I mean, could have been, but what they are missing here is that this is directed by Carl Franklin, and we've talked about some of his movies before, you know, Out of One True Thing, High Crimes, but this is the man who made some great underrated movies. One False Move from about 10 years prior to this, and Devil in a Blue Dress, which was the last movie that Denzel Washington was in, with him as the director, along with Jennifer Beals. And with Devil in the Blue Dress being the great movie that it is, you really look at this movie and you hope that that magic can be back there again. And unfortunately, it just really is not there this time around. And as much as I love Denzel Washington, not even he could probably save this movie. There are a couple of those moments here and there where that badass Denzel Washington comes out in full force, but even then, they're very few and far between. Plus, the mystery really is not all that impressive by any means necessary. The film overall just feels like it's a generic mystery thriller, and unlike Devil in a Blue Dress, you can kind of predict everything that's going to happen at this point. You can figure out, you know, who's working for who, what the big twist is going to be, and it just really doesn't work out when it's all said and done. There's just so much possibility with what they could have done here, and it's just like, it just doesn't really work as well as they probably should have. I mean, it's a film that you expect so much more because the talent on board here is so damn good, and Denzel Washington can usually save any movie he's in, but this is just one where it's just like, kind of like with John Q, probably a good idea on paper, but just when it's all said and done, it just doesn't quite live up to what it could have been. A film that could have been really something special, and unfortunately, it just wasn't there this time around, and it just really hurts me to say that because I do like a lot of Denzel Washington's movies, but this is definitely one of those lesser films of his. It just feels like he was just taking a paycheck and not really doing a whole lot there to really elevate this to another level. Like I said, there are times when he does get that badassness that we like about him so much, some great one-liners, but even then, it's not enough to save the film in general. So it is definitely a major letdown compared to the last time these two worked together with The Devil in a Blue Dress. So yeah, a very mixed but mostly negative opinion on Out of Time. So let's go ahead and wrap this up by taking a look at the last one we have here, Val Kilmer as porn star John Holmes in Wonderland. So Val Kilmer plays the role of John Holmes, a famous pornographic film star and suspected accomplice in 4 grisly murders committed to a house at 8763 Wonderland Avenue in the Laurel Canyon section of Los Angeles. What the film uses is a non-linear Rashomon-style narrative structure to present conflicting accounts of the murders from different perspectives. And you see the stacked cast they have here. Not just Kilmer, but Kate Bosworth, Dylan McDermott, Carrie Fisher, Lisa Kudrow, Josh Lucas, Christina Applegate, Tim Blake Nelson, Janine Garofalo, Eric Bogosian, Frankie G. A lot of talent involved in this film. A lot of good ideas in general here, but the acting overall is good. The rest of the film really is not. And like I said, I was talking about Lisa Kudrow in this. I think she is definitely one of the strongest things about the movie. In fact, the acting all around is very good, with Lisa Kudrow, Val Kilmer, and Kate Bosworth really elevating this film to a level I would say, watch it for the performances. If you're watching it for everything else, you're going to be really let down by it, because it's a film that has a lot of noble ideas to it, an intriguing way of presenting the story in general, but it just doesn't live up to the hype that this film could really live up to. It's a film that, there's so much about John Holmes' story that the fact that they don't even bring up the fact that the guy died of AIDS in 1988. Like, he contracted the AIDS virus, I think, around 84, 85, if I'm not mistaken. And the film doesn't really cover that element of Holmes' life, which I think that's something that should be addressed. I think that should be something that could be very interesting to hear about, like how this guy went from being one of the biggest porn stars ever to dying of a serious disease that was spreading all over the place back then. but it never really does that. It just tries to go for more of the fact that he was involved. He was supposedly involved in these 4 different murders happening in this one area, and it's pretty substandard stuff. The mystery aspect of it is not that interesting. Kind of like Without a Time, it's pretty much a film that has some good ideas to it, but not enough to really carry the film over as something that is a must-watch. For a one-time watch, just to see the really good performances, I think it does carry itself to that level. But you're never going to watch this again afterwards. But like I said, for Lisa Kudrow, especially for Lisa Kudrow, she needed this after Marcy X. I mean, the film may not be that great, but here she shows that, yeah, she's a pretty damn good actress. And I mean, she does really have a lot of good things about her performance in this film that really elevates this to a level that I would say for a one-time watch, it's fine for what it is, but you're never going to want to watch this again after the first time around. So that is Wonderland. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll take a look at 5 more movies, a lot of notable movies once again, most notably, actually, the first one, Uma Thurman in the first part of Quentin Tarantino's 2-part saga of Kill Bill Volume 1, Matthew Broderick leading the voice of alien dogs in the family comedy Good Boy, the Coen brothers making more of a mainstream movie than they usually do with George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones in Intolerable Cruelty, most people's introduction to Uwe Boll with House of the Dead, and Clint Eastwood's Mystic River gets a limited release this weekend, so we'll take a look at those 5 films all on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the plays on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I am off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care.